enjoy.
No one's going to enjoy listening to us. And welcome to the Rejects of the Round Table. My name is Adam.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Taylor.
The first
Oh,
female.
Yeah, the first female. You sound so happy to do this, babe. Taylor, you are my fiance, and I am your fiance. We are one
Well, that's
together.
not confirmed.
Shut the fuck up. Hang on. She's in the position of more power.
Yeah.
Archie's just casually licking himself over there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. He's just staring up into the ceiling. Well, good boy.
What's the go there with the intro? Is it not like because Aaron did the last one?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening with the intro because your main question at the moment was like, how is this working?
Yes.
I don't know. So
It's not.
it's not. It's really
Sorry,
not.
Adam. No, we encourage you. Keep going.
Okay, so
You're doing great.
Basically, you need to pull back.
Oh, pull back.
Yeah,
Getting
you're a
too
little bit. You're a
excited.
little bit too loud. You're popping yellow instead of fucking greens. So I don't know. Like the idea came about like it was just a fun idea, and we've slowly developed into this. Like, what do you think, Taylor? Do you think it's kind of like what? What do you think about the podcast so far?
Do you think? Sorry.
Oh, she about to slap
Yeah,
you.
hey, I'm
fucking
sitting
hell.
close.
I don't know. It's just been a thought that you've had for years, I guess. Talking about before we even met.
That's a very
Are
good
we
point.
actual?
Yeah.
You talk about it with me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a
at-
horrible
at school-
friend.
At school, I talked about it to all of you. I said, let's do it. And then you guys were like, yeah, sure, yeah.
You talked about this doing a podcast with us at school.
Yeah.
Why didn't I say yes? Did I say yes?
No, you did say yes.
Why didn't we do it?
But then because
Nothing
I didn't have
We're
the
good at
money
doing
to
that, aren't
do
we?
it.
I've
We're
noticed.
dreadful.
I didn't have the money to do it. I had no money to back it up.
Well, we could have just done it over like Zoom or something.
How? I had no PC. I had no laptop.
You had
I
this
nothing.
laptop, didn't you?
No, I didn't. No, that point.
Didn't you say this laptop's like super old?
Yeah, it's like super old, but it's not
Like
that old.
4 years old.
Yeah, it's like 4 years.
Oh.
So it's not that
So
old.
what-
It's just old.
But you had, I swear you've had a PC for ages. Because you used
No.
to play games with Lachlan and Hamilton, didn't you?
No.
Lachlan and Hamilton.
no,
Hamilton and Aaron.
No, I used to play games with Aaron because that was on Xbox, and it still took me a couple of years to actually get a headset that I could actually talk to people.
That's right, you were on Xbox.
I was a single player person for like most of my time.
Daisy,
What
Destiny.
happened?
What? What do you mean?
Enjoying that single player game. All this online crap.
Yeah, I know. I hate it. Like the other day, I tried to play fucking Call of Duty World War Two, like the new one.
Yeah.
With my second cousin, and I was like, okay, we'll play multiplayer, like play through a story as co-op, right? Because that's an option in the game. And then I tried to play it, and it was like, no, you cannot play it because you need to subscribe to a Microsoft account. So therefore, we can. And I was like, okay, how about I just get him as a guest? Like, you know, how normal thing, you would get a guest and you would move on from there. And he goes, no, you need another account that has another Microsoft account. And I was like, why? So I got another account. I have 2 accounts that are Microsoft accounts. And I got it all linked up. And then it goes, no, you need to have Xbox Live to be able to play online, to play co-op single player on your console. Not fucking, like, it made no bloody sense. Oh, she's about to fuck you up. It made no bloody sense. No, it's just being a menace.
Have you, Taylor, ever... Oh, well, bad time
Oh,
to speak
no.
to you.
Yeah.
That's a big pop filter. The cat is acting as a massive pop filter.
Yeah, she just wants to go through the bloody blinds.
He's looking for the birdies out the window.
Aw. She's just staring at us there. Okay, there we go.
But have you ever... So, this is your form. I think you have a few forms, though, of releasing... We say art to the public. So you've got like your woodworking, you've got the podcast, you want to do YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever had aspirations for that? But you're like doing YouTube or
Photography.
but that's a photography, yeah.
Taylor's actually a really good photographer.
Just don't do it.
No, we don't really go
Oh.
anywhere to take photos. I wish you would do more things like with the exposure and everything else and start fucking around with that. Just take random photos and fuck around with them on a simple editing program. That'd be nice. I think you can get into that definitely. Might get you a laptop and start doing that. Or maybe even the iPad. You could do that on the iPad. That's a good idea.
I just need to learn how to do it and I haven't done it.
Google,
Been
YouTube.
Wait, so when you say photography, what have you done?
just
Taken really good
a lot of the
photos.
A lot of the photos I have taken, I haven't needed to edit.
Damn, she's good.
No, she's good. She's good. Like there was a photo that Taylor took in New Zealand, with the redwood trees. They were beautiful. Oh, so nice.
I'll charge you up, but I'll try to find it and show you after.
Yeah, and then you took really nice photos. You were really good at taking photos of people too. Not those things, but anyway, I was thinking about, like, first of all, I thought about the first lot where it was like Taylor took a couple of really good photos of a 1-year-old's baby party. That was really cool.
Like like, you know this 1-year-old?
You know, she
Some
knows.
random. You just
No, no,
went to a
right.
park.
We
There's a
just-
baby. You're
Absolutely.
like, your
Random
baby's
Random
adorable. Can I
person.
just take some photos?
It's like those Instagram fucking influencers
Yes,
that run
I
up and
see
say,
at
"Oh my
the
god, your
park."
dog's so cute. Can I take a photo?
Yeah.
Oh my god, your baby's so cute. Can I take a photo?"
That's a bit
No,
creepy.
that's a bit more creepy. Yeah.
No, friend's child.
Mm. And then she took some really nice photos of some of her other friends and whatnot. But yeah. Anyway, but no, and also there were some really nice photos of us as well in
What
New
did-
Zealand. That's really good.
Why don't you have like an Instagram account? Because like you
I
could just.
do, I just don't use it.
Oh, what
see.
is it? I didn't even subscribe to it. I don't think. I'll find it.
I
There you go. You're gonna get because what's the average viewer rate on these videos?
1.
One. You're gonna get one more subscriber plus
yeah, that's
me.
you. No, that.
Oh, I
you
am
are
the one.
You are the one.
But I haven't posted on in like years.
What's the handle?
Underscore Taylor underscore.
I was about to write
underscore.
underscore. I was about to spell it out. Underscore. Sorry, Taylor.
There you
Oh,
go. TAYLA.
hey, yep, I knew that.
Yeah, sure.
Underscore again.
Underscore,
Yeah.
Photography
Photography.
and then underscore.
Iceberg Factory.
Factory. Oh.
It's such a shit name because I made it when I was 16.
Oh, cute. Taylor Maria. Followed by Tay.
Yeah, that one.
Dirt bike.
That's my brother.
Oh, was that Pat
Oh, that's
on
not-
his dirt bike? That was cool.
What one? I don't even know what I've got.
You haven't got much on there.
Oh, that one.
Mm.
Yeah, that was my auntie and uncle.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer landscapes, or do you prefer like people or objects? What do you?
I don't really have a preference. Whatever looks good.
What I would like I think you're more of an opportunist. So you kind of go, that has the potential to be a really good photo and you want to take it. You don't try and do like a setup and everything else. It's more like I see something in this and I'm going to take it. So
Do
that's
you
the
take your
idea.
camera? Because you've got a nice camera, haven't you? Do you
I
take it
do
everywhere?
it.
Mm.
I try to every now and then, but then I forget.
I mean, even your phone would be decent enough. Not great, but like it's
I
Her
took
phone's
a
actually
few
really
good
good.
photos
No.
the other day.
'cause I love it when I take Satine for walks and like Parawira and stuff. I love trying to get nice
Oh,
photos and shit.
You took a photo today and I was like, what's that in the background? And it was fucking Satine. And I
This
didn't
is
even
just the
notice.
She's like hiding in the bush and everything.
Yeah, well, that was the
Wait,
kite
you can't even
festival.
see the string. It looks like they're actual there.
Yeah, that was a kite festival. That
That
was
was
actually
after I
fun.
played with the exposure and everything on my
Mm.
phone.
That's one thing I would love to get into because I did enjoy photography when I did it in school, but like I
I-
just didn't pursue it because I didn't think it was a career in it.
I hated the school photography because the school photography.
do it?
Yeah, I remember doing it with bloody
Mr. Pierce,
No, not Mr. Pierce.
Oh,
I
you
had
didn't do it
I
with
had
me then.
Haskard's fucking dad.
Mr. Asgard.
Yeah, literally. But no, I remember you're like, this is the photography, and I remember so fucking badly. I took a really beautiful photo of a mic on top of a piano and with the reflection and everything, and I fucked around with the exposure and everything else, and it looked absolutely amazing. And I remember someone kept on saying, "You didn't take that photo. You didn't." No, I took
That is like
photo."
the best compliment you can
Yeah,
get as a
no,
photographer.
they said no. They said you didn't
do
take that photo. You downloaded it from somewhere else, and then you edited it. And I'm like, no, I took that photo. I can show you on the camera. And I showed them on the camera. I was like, look, and they're like, oh, bullshit. You
downloaded
must
it
have-"
to the
Yeah.
camera.
And then she was like, no, and I was like, no, I legit. They didn't believe me, but never
What
mind.
year did you do photography in? Because I think I did in year 10.
I know mine was like way back in like year 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember, oh no, it could have been year 10.
I
Yeah.
think there was only one photography teacher though. I could be wrong. I could be making that up actually.
I can't remember. It was so long ago, but I remember like
I think there's a photo he took on my camera
which one?
while we were driving.
That's nice. Look, you even got
What
the
was
rule
that?
of thirds nearly going on there.
Oh yeah, with the
That was
angle and that.
Heading down to Piha Beach.
Oh, that was really good. I love Piha Beach. Yeah, and I didn't like photography at school because most of the time school had their own ideology that they wanted to push. Like you have to follow these strict rules, you have to go this, you have to do this, you have to do that. And it was like you weren't learning. You were more like more so
Being
you were
told what to
being
do.
told what to do,
Because I felt
which
like
was annoying.
with Mr. Pierce, I thought he taught it really well because I'm far more like, well, no, we're very similar in this. Like we love the descriptions of science behind it, but I
Yeah.
feel like Mr. Pierce really he told you sort of the science and how it works, and then he said, "All right, be creative with it." I feel like he was really
I
good
would
at
rather that instead of saying take the photo
Do it like
and
this,
then do the
yeah.
science. No, I'd rather do the science beforehand,
Mm.
understand how it works, and then go out and do it. Because then I can go, okay, cool. If I want to use the rule of thirds, and therefore I'm looking for somewhere to use that. I'm not actively sitting there going, oh, I've got this photo now. I need to edit it to make it look like this. I don't want to do that. If I'm looking for a black and white still, then therefore I want to actively go out and look for a black and white still, not actually have a photo and make it into a black and white. No, like there's a different way of doing it. Like if I want to use a fisheye lens, like I'm looking for something to use a fisheye lens on, not to actually just go, oh, I've got this selection of 20 photos, now I've got to use a fisheye lens on one of them. No, I'd rather have the creative ability to pursue and the knowledge behind it rather than having the picture and then applying the knowledge to it. Yes, that is a valuable lesson as well, but I'd rather continue the creative aspect. It gives you more freedom.
On the note of the creative stuff, I love what's happening with as more people get into drones and stuff. Do you reckon if you pursue this, would you get into it? Would you put
If
some
I
money
could,
aside for it?
Yeah.
Could have.
'Cause I think that I love, absolutely adore. Like this is what my Instagram reels is full of. It's just amazing drone shots in these amazing, and sometimes it's not even amazing places. It's just like it's a really cinematic, cool perspective on it because it's just a different view.
I'll have to see if I can find my brother's TikTok.
Oh my god, he's a TikToker.
Yeah, but he
I
actually
know.
does he does good videos.
He
does
think
stupid
fucked up
ones.
His camera, his drone though.
Yeah, no, he flew it into the ocean.
Oh,
So you know the radar on top of the boats and that?
Yeah.
As he got his drone closer to the boat, they're out in the middle of the sea. As he got his drone closer to the boat, it interfered and the drone wasn't receiving any signals
really?
and just went straight in and didn't like it didn't even do anything. It just sunk.
Was it a good drone?
Yeah, it
Like
was a
good quality drone?
Yeah, good,
Wow.
high quality drone. It was a big one.
Yeah,
Like,
God, we have to fix by that. That's awful. That's
yeah.
not great.
I know, but it was funny because like his dad kept on telling him to put like the what is it, the recovery thing? Like if it goes in the water, it'll inflate and then it'll come up to the surface.
Oh wow, that's sick.
Yeah, no, like once it
Oh, like an
hits,
attachment. I've
yeah,
seen that.
attachment.
Yeah.
That once
thought
it
you meant
goes
built
into the
drone,
water
yeah.
and gets fully submerged, then it'll inflate like a little balloon and it'll push it back up, so therefore you can recover it, right? And maybe get it fixed. He didn't have that, so it just sunk.
That's
And now
devastating.
he's got a remote and everything. He's like, well, I can't really get a refund on it, and I can't really do anything for it. Like he's got no insurance on it because he never thought that would happen. But yeah,
That was one of the photos he's took.
That's cool.
yeah, you see, that's what I mean. Like that sort of stuff is really nice.
Really
Like,
Is your family just like an artsy family?
well, your dad's actually really good at
Dad's-
welding and steel work.
Mum, not so much.
Yeah, but your mum likes the
Is she going to listen to
scenery.
this?
Yeah, but your mum likes the scenic sort of situation, like being in a. She likes the location, sort of thing. She likes going to locations and
Yeah.
exploring them. Where your dad likes making things. Okay, from this sheet of metal, what can we do? Or how can I weld this way? Or how can it's not going to work that way? And he's more engineered to that sort of process
He's
and
very
thought.
good at finding solutions. And
Yeah,
and
very
making
good at
things out of what
problems.
he's got.
Sounds like he'd be a good engineer.
He literally is. Like he welded the table legs out there. Did a great job on that.
Just from I showed him a
I was
photo.
about to say something really rude.
I showed him the photo. And I was like, "This is what I want."
And then he was like,
Okay.
"Yeah, sure," and he did it.
That's incredible.
And,
And he came over with the whole sketch, and I'm like, "You
like
didn't
a,
really need
like-
to go this detailed, but okay."
yeah, but the
like-
detail is like what we thrive on. Like
Yeah, I know.
detail's good because then detail makes more understanding towards the actual process of what you're doing.
You've been, I don't, if you remember it, you've been to our house, like mum and dad's house,
Oh.
the back veranda. Dad made all that.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
So
it
it's
was
not
like
council approved.
What?
I said it's not council approved.
fucking Wasleys.
No one cares.
I know. Do you know what's funny about that? Speaking of your back veranda, so I'm making a video now of my ownership of Satine and buying her my dog,
Yeah.
and I'm watching all these old videos. I forgot how small she was when I took her to see what's your dog's name?
Willow.
Willow.
Yeah.
That were adorable. Its team was so up in Willow's grill, like the team did not want to leave her alone.
That was funny.
Oh, but oh my god, it was so tight. It was so fluffy as well. Like just,
I
it was like
know.
frizzy.
Super. She was cute.
Was? Excuse you.
What?
You be nicer to my fur baby.
No, I said she was cute.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. She
Oh
was
my-
shit
She's
now.
silly.
We're getting divorced.
I'm taking the dog. You're not winning this one. But nah, it's interesting. I understand what
we-
you mean.
Went around the wrong way because we just ended up talking. Well, I ended up asking about Taylor's questions because I was wondering about yours. What is the goal with the? What do we? I need talking about needing details. I need to know. This is related. Are we doing like a Mr. Sunday's movies podcast? Are we
I've never
doing?
heard that, but
That's just like news, pop culture, media reviews.
Okay, you
Are we
see-
doing a Rooster Teeth podcast? Are we doing
yeah.
like a history recount? It doesn't feel like that, but
my concept for this whole podcast system that we're kind of like creating and whatnot is the first 50 episodes is fuck knows, like is really just kind of like see where it lands, learn the editing system, learn the process of actually keeping a conversation, keeping it rolling, keeping it fresh, right? Whether if we use dot points, whether if we actually just talk on, shared experiences or shared knowledge, or one person goes off on a rant, then therefore we can support that rant by just giving clued questions and ideas towards that rant. Does that make sense so far?
that's probably a really good way to do it.
After the first 50, then therefore we can start narrowing down. Do we continue doing this and making like the bulk of the channel this? Or shall we do like, okay, my idea would be, a great idea would be to continue to doing the bulk of the channel like this, right? And then every now and then we do like a 40-minute episode where it's just like we
like
talk
special
about
cuts, yeah.
yeah, special cuts. We just talk about specific things that we want to do, like exactly, and like, sorry, specific.
No.
like,
We're talking about the
Pacific.
ocean.
Yeah, specific things. But yeah, we talk about exact things that we want to pursue in this, and then from there we can move on. Because when the idea is, once we start getting like lapel mics and everything else, and an actual camera that can video the whole interaction, we can either branch off to a group experience like D&D, right, as we were talking about in a previous episode or whatever, or feature, whatever, or we can do experiences. So we'll cook a steak, or not cook a steak that simple, but like we'll do a big pot roast or something, or we'll have 3 on the go. We'll smoke something, like we'll put it in the smoker and we'll use the pellets, or
We
we'll
have
do.
a steak off.
Oh, we could have a steak off. You see, that's what I mean. That's what I want to kind of like
Yeah.
progress to, because then it's like, ideally with the kind of like, if it was a steak off situation, you would have 2 people cooking, 1 person commentating, right? The 1 person commentating can kind of go around to 2 people and be like, what are you doing? Like, what are you putting on your steak? Oh, I'm just using garlic salt. Great. Okay. What are you doing? What are you putting on your steak? I'm putting a rosemary and thyme fucking thing. or
I
something."
imagine this commentator so. I imagined like when you watch what's that show? The Japanese, I think it's Japanese, where they have the ninja course. What's it called? Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warrior,
And you know
yeah.
how the commentators speak like really, really fast and stuff like that. That's imagine. I was like, what are you putting?
That's the thing. We can take it any way that we want to. So we can just take mad piss out of it and just talk mad
But
shit.
what way do you want to take?
I don't know. You see, this is what I mean. So the first 50 episodes I would like to do is ideally just this random kind of like grey mist that we're doing at the moment. And then we kind of pursue into a more pointed, detailed message, like, sort of topics or ideologies or whatever. Like, this is why if we start getting one-on-one people, like just 2 of us, and then we can go, okay, we've got 3 topics and they're roughly all the same, say politics or whatever, or say religion, lifestyle or whatever, then we can kind of delve down that rabbit hole. Now, we'll try and keep on track on that via just slowly maneuvering the conversation towards those 3 points or 5 points or whatever. Now, if we have a bigger group, we need more like 5 or 8 points, and then if we want to use points. But if not, we can just randomly talk about things. As you saw the last 2 hours that we did with the previous one, we just talked mad shit about the whole thing. And this is what I love, because it's like we can go one of 2 ways. If you want to listen to this podcast and kind of like listen to it just for a laugh, mad shit podcast. Just listen to the big ones that are like 2 hours long and we just talk over each other and we just start yelling.
Makes
and
no
screaming.
sense.
It makes no sense, but it's fun to listen to. It's something you can put in the background while you're just listening. Or you want to listen to the more pointed conversations, like say if we want to do a whole thing about arts and photography or whatever that we were just talking about, then we can get more into detail about those. Or we can talk about books, we can talk about movies, we can talk about games, more pointed things. And then we can label those and say, this one's about da 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 in the description. And then people go, hey, I want to know all about, say, the Oblivion Remastered series. That's a topical topic, right? Someone will listen to it. Someone will go, hey, these guys, I didn't think about it this way. I didn't think about it this way. I never knew this about this. And you can relate on that. The other idea that I'm trying to go for is the podcast channel, right? And then we move into more of the real life stuff. So we start the vlogs. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So the podcast slowly moves into like actual short videos of us cooking, or
Surely you would keep the podcast and then you do vlogs on top of that.
No, that's what I mean. So you put it on layers.
It's like onions, like ogres.
Yeah, like onions, like ogres. You put it on layers. So you start off with the verbal, like the audio, and then you slowly build to visual. Then with visual, you go on to more activity-based things and whatnot. When I started doing the garden,
when do you start your OnlyFans in this?
It's already started.
It's already out there.
It's underground, mate. No one knows.
Or just feet.
Yeah.
When you're asleep, Taylor, he just takes photos of your feet.
Mate, you guys see my toe. It's all gnarly and shit. Like, it's disgusting. Anyway, but no, you know what I mean? Like, when I start doing, like, the garden renos and stuff like that, I can start doing that. When we'll get, like, a shit old car or something, we'll just start working on it and just, like, the whole experience of that, So you never try and put all your eggs in one basket with this. But you also have to not spread yourself too thin. And the only way you can figure that out is by delving into each area and figuring out what you want to do, but spending the least amount of money possible on each area.
I do like that you're keeping ambiguous, because quite frankly, I didn't think that. I was always thinking you need to define it. What are we doing here? You got to define it. You got to define it.
Don't define it.
One of my favorite podcasts, they don't do it anymore, unfortunately. One of my favorite podcasts was one done by Tested with Adam Savage, the guy from Mythbusters.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was called Still Untitled, and that name, Still Untitled, was because they didn't know where they wanted to take it when they started it. So they left it ambiguous. They went down each in a different route. And I can't. That's really smart. I wouldn't have thought that far ahead. I would have thought I need a description. I need to describe what this is. I need to explain what that part is. What's this contribution? What's a name for that?
If you do that, it starts locking you into areas. So if you go off brand, you start cutting ties and you start cutting out your content creation. So therefore, you keep it very open and vague. You do whatever the fuck you want. You want to make it as creative as possible, or you want to make it as just slow as possible. That's why it's like, okay, so say if you're trying to keep up with like today's current atmosphere of like gaming or news or whatever,
you'd have to pump these out quick.
You have to pump these out real quick. Like every week there's got to be like a 40-minute episode and you got to waffle on about something that's happened over in Brexit or whatever. Like, fuck it. Like,
What's that got to do with gaming?
I don't know.
You're already off script.
About politics or whatever, but you know what I mean. Like, you got to keep on track. But with this, like, if we just waffle on about anything and just it's topical to us at this point in time, then therefore we can kind of release it whenever. No set kind of like conversation is continuous from one after the other. So once that conversation is done, that conversation is held in that one time period, right? So you're not kind of linking one episode to the next episode, next episode, next episode. There's no continuation. It's just that episode is a standalone by itself because of what is talked about in that episode.
What do you want to waffle on about, Taylor?
I just listen.
Yeah. You're very good at listening.
That's not very interesting.
But do you understand where I'm
Actually,
going?
on that topic, what do you and Adam talk about? What is a standard conversation?
Well,
Adam, take out the trash.
What are we doing this weekend? I don't know. Like that's the
Brandon's coming up.
Yeah, Brandon's coming up. Like, fuck. That's literally it. Like, yeah. No, like our conversations kind of like delve into
Changes all the time.
yeah.
Do you talk about deep shit?
Sometimes.
Yeah, you have your DNMs.
Yeah, absolutely.
9 times out of 10, like one of us will be like, we're done with this conversation, and then we've gotten better at learning each other's like points. I've had to learn a lot more because
Points? What do you mean?
As in, like, I will be talking and we'll get into a deep conversation, and then I'll want to continue, and she doesn't want to continue. But I'll continue
Because
anyway.
you're going the wrong. Why?
No,
You're going the wrong way.
because
What's he
we're done
doing?
with this conversation. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
don't
I'll
understand.
I'll push the
There's
letter.
certain conversations I just get overwhelmed, and then I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Talk. It can be the most simple
You're just-
conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Sorry, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just become.
So it's not that
extremely
it's like
drained.
intense or anything. It's
No.
just yeah.
Yeah, it's like the way I see it is
My anxiety, I guess.
the
does
way.
it.
Well, it's also just tolerating Adam.
Yeah, I know that's
Yeah.
pretty fucking hard. But the way I see it is like Taylor just gets drained by the conversation. So going into too much detail is something that turns her off, and going like,
I'm
he-
better
But that
with
can
that
be
now.
that
Yeah.
can be taxing because we were only talking about in books. Over description can be boring, but like as you said, you like over description.
I love it. I love over description. Like the very detailed description is like what I actually enjoy and how I understand a more comprehensive idea of what I'm thinking and what I'm talking about.
Understandably, you don't read these like sort of fiction books normally, but you can hopefully you can compare. I don't know if you've read them before, but like Lord of the Rings compared to like Harry Potter.
So much easier because I enjoy Harry Potter.
Did you?
See,
Did you-
I would-
wow,
yeah.
that was a statement.
Yeah. See, I'd
But
rather
is it
Lord
like
of the Rings.
You don't. Is Lord of the Rings just too slow and like over descript?
I haven't
and...
read the books, Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings books. This is basing off the movies. To me, Lord of the Rings is very much fight, much about.
Ooh, you see, but the
But
books
again,
don't
I haven't read
concentrate
the
on the
books.
fights. Yeah.
It's a bit.
I
There's a
couldn't-
lot of war
Yeah.
information.
and I don't
you
enjoy
know-
that myself. Whereas
Yeah.
Harry Potter's a bit different.
Mm,
It's,
Right. I need to find a better analogy.
yeah, you
It's-
do.
But, like, You don't like over descriptive books, then, by the sound.
I
Of it.
don't mind it. Again. It
What about in
depends
your
on the
genres for
topic.
crime? Like, because that's
I
what.
love going into more detail. With
Yeah.
crime.
Oh, you see, that's where I find it fascinating because Taylor loves detail of crime. So, like, a crime novel can
Sounds
go
so
into.
bad.
No, but
She wants
you
to
know,
learn all the ways and how she can get away with things.
No, but like she'll like we'll watch what are we watching? We watch
Oh, SVU
SVU,
at the moment.
which you hate that. But
Yeah, because you
So
know.
watching
you
episodes tonight as well.
Ah,
like,
what's good with like? Okay, this is great. Look, it's interesting. It captivates you, and then at the end, there's not a meaningful ending.
when
What?
was it? It was a
What
few-
is that?
It was a few episodes ago, and they just stopped.
yeah, they
There was
just stop.
like, what's
So
happening
fun.
with this person? What's happening with that person? They're
And
both technically guilty. And then
And they
it
just leave it up
stops.
there. What?
Mm.
What?
I know.
What is it? What, how do like that would just maybe they do that on purpose because then it's like, oh, they'll explain it next episode, and by the time you start watching it, you've forgotten about it.
But also the other thing is it keeps the kind of like the anonymous of like the actual case. If you know what actually definitively happened,
Yeah.
then therefore you can kind of go search it up and see if it was real or not. Because some of these
Is it-
stories are
I
just
don't want to
stories.
put that much effort in. I'm watching telly.
Yeah, no, but like some people will, and then they'll
True.
figure out if it's a true story or not, and
Do
then
you?
they can.
Not with these ones because I know majority of them aren't.
Mm.
But I have searched up a few cases where it's like, oh,
Wait,
I love learning the psychology behind why it happened.
mm.
If I had the patience, I would study psychology.
You're pretty patient, aren't you?
I just don't enjoy learning.
Really?
I hated it. I didn't even finish school. I had 6 weeks.
Wow. I
No,
didn't realize.
8 weeks left of year 12 and I dropped out.
That's like one of my biggest passions is like learning.
I can't.
Hang
I
on,
don't know.
but your learning is different. So if you sat down and someone told you to read a book in like both sides, back to front, and then gave you a test, kind of like accommodated
Oh, that's
towards
boring.
that book, that's
And
boring
that's
as
the
fuck.
thing, though.
That's all Taylor knows.
That's the type of learning that I've had. I don't.
Well,
do,
that's school. Yeah, that's the way they teach you to.
Exactly.
I think that's bullcrap too, because like,
I can't
It
do
is.
tests. I stress myself out in tests.
yeah, yeah.
I
No, I get
forget
that.
Absolutely everything I've
Do you
learned.
know what's funny? Today, as we were driving back home, like before you rocked up, Taylor was showing me how to do my 9 times tables. I don't know how to do my 9 times tables, right? But she showed me a real easy way. You put your hands up, right? And then you
Just
go.
where you take one and add one to the other.
You just
Yeah.
take. So if it's 9 times 1, you take away
Take away
your
one.
first finger, and
Mm.
it's you got 9 fingers left.
Yeah.
And then on the one side, and the other side 0. If you do 2, you take away your second finger. You've got 1 on this side and 8 on this side. It's 18.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you continuously.
I didn't know
do
the
that.
hand version of that, but I knew like the visual, like the
Yeah.
number version.
See,
of that.
I don't know the numbers. I don't know the number version. Taylor showed me how to do a hand version, and I could, if I practice that enough, I could confidently do that inside my head because I have the visual representation in front of me inside my head. But I need to learn that that visual aspect of it. See, I don't memorize numbers.
You must like some degree of learning though, because you build. The Lego, I suppose, more
I-
spelled
See,
out, but you still
a
build
different
it.
type
But
of
that's
learning.
problem solving to an extent.
More a interactive learning style.
More hands-on.
I couldn't do school. That's why I dropped out. I couldn't do school. I couldn't do that. You had to go in. You had to study this. You had to do this. You had to have it in by this date.
Does it frustrate you doing trial by fire though? Like, let's say, all right, you want to get into photography, which means you need to learn more about photography. If you just go out there, start taking photos, and you're like, why are these not turning out the way I want them
That's
to? Is
different,
that going to
because
frustrate you?
It's
See?
hand-on.
So you'd prefer that,
Yes,
even when you hit those roadblocks, which ultimately you do because you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing,
exactly.
and that's you prefer that
Yeah.
rather than
I would rather,
a textbook's different, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah,
See, this is what I mean.
I
It's
would
different
rather
types
get
of
it
learning.
wrong multiple times and learn from what I'm doing than have to read and read and read and get it right the first time.
Just blindly
Because
sit
you-
a test and see if you
but
got it right.
The
Like,
thing that I
yeah,
always find is when you're doing it and you don't get it right the first time, you find different things that you're doing.
true.
Like, there's so many styles and so many ways you can do photography in particular
True.
that you might find a different method that works better in this scenario.
It's weird. What I normally do is I try to get as strong of a basic understanding as much like a really developed. I don't know how to word it, but like a really developed basic understanding to where I could like, maybe sit the test and get
Yeah.
maybe a C, B grade,
And then
but then
work
leave
up
the
from
rest
there.
ambiguous because then, as you said, you get different paths.
Exactly.
And it's like that famous. What's the I can't remember who said it, but it's like how you go into something not knowing what you can't do, therefore you just end up doing it. Kind
Yeah.
of deal. Like it's
You just have to.
yeah. It's like how everyone tells you can't start a sentence with "and," but if you don't know that, you're going to do it, and then you make great works of art anyway. That's a
Yeah.
crap example, but
Yeah.
you get the gist.
exactly. Like, it's just different ways of learning because, like, sadly enough, the school system is taught on.
Oh shit!
Well,
It's so bad.
If you take it back, it's taught on the Prussian system, which is rope learning. You're forced to learn this, forced to learn that, and it's really just there to make industry.
It's all guess and check and
manufacturers-
memorize.
Yeah, it is.
I remember I was a CD grade student until I learnt the way that the school wanted me to learn, and then I went to a BA grade student. It's like freaking.
Yeah, you see, I
I
did.
was opposite.
You went the other way.
Primary school and year 8 excelled. Hit year 9 and
You were just the best at drawing squares.
And triangles.
Oh, and triangles.
But once I hit year 9, it started going into like particular areas.
Yeah.
I have to have my own. I enjoy finding my own way to study.
Yeah.
And I did my traineeship. I love that.
Mm.
Which is, you would think wouldn't, because I'm just doing from the textbook onto a piece of paper.
Yeah,
and
but you're
typing up.
practically using
But
it.
it's not
Not
just the
that?
practical side of it. It's the factor that I'm able to learn
I
in my own form. It's not, you've got to do it this way. You have to do it this way. It's, yeah.
I hate the argument about practical use in terms of stuff like this. Like, you know, when a kid's like, you say it in school all the time, like, when am I ever going to use trigonometry? When am I going to use calculus and stuff? I think it's more the fact learning about it, and you get a different perspective when there's a like when you comprehend it, it gives you a different perspective on certain things. You're not going to use it all the time. Like, you're not going to go out there and be like, oh, look at this mirror, I can use calculus to mount it. Like,
No,
you're
you're
not
not.
going to do
Not
that.
what you use,
But
yeah.
it's the alternative views of thinking.
I understand. Okay, there are some things that have no actual practical use. I understand that, but then like having the base knowledge of it in theory gives you a better understanding of the practical use of other things.
And I think as you get into more depth, like the further you go, like say, like it's different from learning. What's an example? So like learning how light diffracts compared to learning what a photon is. Like you're getting more specific, so it's not you're not going to be able to apply it
Yeah.
everywhere. But learning light diffracts can then be used in other ways, like with normal waves and stuff like that. And that side of it, like you can apply it elsewhere. That's where I think it's good. But like, well, yeah, as you said, like when you get into more specifics, then it loses its value.
It loses its value. Yeah, it
Becomes less
loses its
valuable.
face value on what it is. Yeah, because like learning, you see, this is why I found trades so somewhat easy for me because everything had a very face value practical use. Learning how to use a saw. Okay, well, cuts one way.
You're
Duh.
learning as you do it.
And learning as
It's-
you're doing it.
Yeah.
But then if you really want to get into it, you got to learn, why is the saw made out of tungsten? Why is it tempered? Why is it sharpened a certain way? Why are the teeth actually, like different angles to each other? Depending on what type of teeth are angled, depends on what sort of cut. What's the difference between a dry cut and a wet cut saw? What's the difference between a green cut saw? Depends on what you're cutting and depends on what sort of momentum and force you're using with that saw. So if you're using a European saw versus a Japanese pull saw, there's a whole heap of different ways of doing it. So again, you can take it at face value or you can get more in depth. It's really up to you.
I'm going to assume something. I think I reckon it would apply for you. Adam. I
Yeah.
don't know if it would go for you as well.
Okay.
But do you prefer, the side of learning that do you like is when there is a genuine answer. There is a correct answer. So like 1 + 1 = 2. That sort of learning. There is an answer. So like your saw, you use this saw for that material. You can use it in alternatives, but it's the best for that material, that blade. For that material.
So you're talking about
So there's
there is
correct. There's an
defined
absolute
correct
answer.
answer.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? There's defined
That's-
correct answer, and everything else is kind of like just opinion. Is that what you're talking about? Having
Yeah.
a defined
Yes.
correct answer,
Yeah.
and then everything else is opinion.
Yeah.
Like I say, a green cut saw is best to use on hardwoods.
But that's do you like that when there's absolutes?
I enjoy the absolute because then it gives you a base knowledge. But then if you tell me that green cut saw is better for hardwoods that are old, like it's been dried out and hard, then therefore I will debate on why it's better, because then I'll kind of try and gather more information on why you think a green cut saw is better. I can also understand the other reasons on why. So do you know the difference between a green cut and a normal? So we're getting into
No.
the
Freaking
specifics
idea
now.
what he's saying
So-
words.
You've got
Yeah.
two different types of pull and push swords, right? Saws. Those big ones that the lumberjacks use. They have the little handle and you push, and it's like a
Yeah,
big
yep.
wobbly sword. Yeah. So there's a couple of different types of teeth on that. So you got one that big wobbles. So there's a couple of different types of saws, like different teeth that you can use. Pardon me. So one of them is called a green cut. Now, green cut has big gaps. Pardon me, bloody hell. One of them has big gaps in between a row of teeth. So it'll have like 3 teeth, and then it'll have a big gap, and then 3 teeth, and then a big gap, and then 3 teeth. Reason being is because when you're cutting green material, it gets gunked up really quickly. So as you're going into the wood, those big gaps collect that gunk, and then it gets hard. So when you pull out, the gunk that's collected in those gaps fall out. That's why it's called a green cut, because it's easier to cut through than it is.
Honestly, I would have thought it's for heat dissipation.
Hang on, this is the fascinating thing too. If you're cutting a hardwood with green cut,
This wasn't even where I was heading. I was going to go down a completely different route, but he's on now.
but no,
Let's let him go.
if you cut hardwood with a green cut, I understand why you would do that. Because if you're cutting the hardwood with a green cut saw, the gaps in between allows more heat to display or dissipate throughout the sword, and it allows that hardwood to not compact as tightly. You just need to make sure that your teeth are sharpened correctly. You see, you're just modifying the teeth, but then the actual mechanics of the saw can be applied somewhere else. So yes, there is one correct way, which is fresh cut, right, for green cut saws. But then there is an alternate use if you modify it or if you use it in a different way.
I'll be honest with you. With what I proposed when I asked that question, I don't know if I worded it properly. Because it's kind of the direction I was going, but it wasn't.
Wasn't
'cause
really?
My where I was leading to is when I got into a higher level of mathematics. It went from here's the answer to there's multiple ways to get to this answer, and then it's like okay, that confused the shit out of me.
Oh.
But I learned that, and then it went from here's multiple ways to get the answer. Here's multiple ways to get multiple answers, which are all correct. And then then science does it, and they add words into it. And I remember that I used to hate that. As times went on, I've learned to absolutely love that you can get multiple answers that can all be correct.
We were talking about this in the car actually, in math, right?
Oh,
So-
who's on which side? Or is there no sides? You're both
No,
on the
no,
same
it was
side.
just
We're just
like
seeing
the-
what his type of learning was.
because
Because obviously
like
he being dyslexic, everyone's got their own
own way of learning.
style, and that's
What's your? We've already discussed your style. You're
So-
more like hands-on, but
I-
he's like hands-on too. Aren't you the same?
very
Roughly.
similar. But
Similar but
I guess-
different.
So when I was doing my traineeship, I had my textbook. I had to write all my answers out on a piece of paper. In between that, I was taking all my notes out the textbook, putting it into my little notebook, to then put straight onto my paper.
That's a lot of
Which-
effort.
It's the third point.
Yeah. It's the exact same answer I'm putting into the book as I am putting into the paper. But it's just how
So you're writing down like examples onto your notes page.
writing down the dot points that I'm taking out of the textbook. And then
Yeah.
and then putting that onto the paper that I'm
Yeah.
handing in. But I had to do that, otherwise it wouldn't. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it otherwise.
Hmm.
Which is like you said, extra step, but
So what was the chat about multiple answers then? What were you talking about?
All right. So Taylor gave me a question. It was like 4 times 8. Is that right?
It wasn't multiple answers. It was the multiple ways you can
Ways
get
you
an
can do
answer.
it. So
Oh, yeah.
if I said to you 4 times 8, what is that?
32.
That's 32. How did you do that? Did you
I
just
just,
have
I
4?
haven't memorized. I
no,
just
no,
know
no.
it.
But that's my point. Did you just have a 4 times 8?
Yeah,
Yeah?
just you say those words, and that means 32.
Okay. In my head, 4 times 8 doesn't equal 32. 4 times 8 equals 4 times 2 equals, what's 4 times 2? 4 times 2 is 8, and then double 8 is 16, and then from 16, double 16 is 32. Does that make
I'd
sense?
see, depending on the
I've had
times
to go in the
table, I
wrong
do
way.
different versions of that.
You see, but my brain puts extra steps into the equation where there is no need, because I had this conversation at work. One of the boys, my manager, was trying to help me out with fucking equations on how to do percentages and whatnot, and he just immediately knows how to do it. Just bang, knows how to do it, rattles it off, and I'm like, okay, where am I getting this wrong? And he's like, well, explain it to me. So I explained it to him, and he goes, why are you putting an extra like 10 steps into this? I'm like, I don't know. This is just how my brain works. And then he goes, well, technically you're right, but it takes you like roughly all these other steps to get to the same conclusion. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then it got to a point where he's taught me a couple of like shortcuts in my long form conclusion, right? Where if he'll say something and then he'll have the answer in a second, I'll have it in 10. So I'm still not quick, but I'm not slow, if that makes sense, because I force myself to be faster thinking in the long form conclusion. But when you start getting more complicated equations, it becomes even more harder and more in depth for me to figure it out. Because if you have, like, say, a 3-part equation, right? I'll figure out one thing. There's like 4 different equations that go onto that. I'll figure out another thing. That's another 4 different equations onto that. So now I've got 8. And then, this is where teachers used to get annoyed, because then they'll be like, oh, write out your thought process.
And they're like, whoa!
Well, that's the thing. They'll get really pissed off, because they'll be like, well, why are you doing all these extra steps? And I'm like, because that's how I know. And then they're like, well, you've put it down to a base, like, understanding of math. So what are you, a year 2 level of math? And I'm like, no, I'm a year 10 level, but the problem is it's just applied differently, and I've got a longer way of going about it. And then they'll get annoyed, because they're like, okay, well, in one of those 3 equations, you've simplified into 4 different equations on each one of those. So now you've got like a shit ton of equations, right? Shut up. It's a shit ton of equations, and I've gone wrong somewhere, and I've gotten the wrong answer by like 0.1 or like by a factor of 10.
But I wouldn't say that's you. I'd say that's more of a learned skill. Like you, like as
A lot of people do it.
you do like different times tables may have different tricks to learn them, or like there's some things you just blatantly know, like certain woods and stuff like that, and there's some things you might have a
That's
trick
what I
for.
mean.
Like so, like how people with lefts and rights, some people don't know them, they get a hold of a finger. We can't do that because we're dumb and we don't know what an L looks like. I hate it when people used to say that. Which one's the L? It's like, I don't know. What that looks like an L.
It's a reversed L.
They both look like L's.
I know. It depends on how you look at it. So, like, technically, they're both L's.
It's been one hand around. Oh, I had to memorize left and right. It was like there's no way I could hold up for an L.
But then
I just couldn't tell.
the funny thing is, when it came to understanding, like, say, take it in tech, right?
Yeah.
When it came to understanding tools or understanding equipment or machinery, if you let me break that machinery down and look at it or have a schematics of it, I will memorize that whole thing and I'll understand what's going wrong with it, and I can fix it if it fucks up. So say if you're using a drill press and the belt goes, okay, cool. I know what's happened, so I can hear, like, you're trying to run it and it's not getting any momentum, but something's spinning. So you open it up, you see the belt's gone, you replace the belt. Simple. Or you go further down, or like all the mechanisms to actually fine tune like your depth gauge and everything else. Once I've been shown how that works and what does what, I can easily memorize everything like that. But then trying to memorize my times tables, good luck. I can't do it.
But that's application of what you know.
Exactly.
That's because you've had more experience with machinery, so therefore you
I've
can
got
cross-reference it more.
And in my
That
head,
sort of goes with what I was saying before. Like
Yeah.
the more you learn about mathematics, the more you can apply it to other things that aren't mathematics.
and like the thing is, like in my head, I can make a 3D model in my head and actually rotate it around and understand how it works. So
What was
therefore,
your side of the story? What did you learn? What's your learning thing? When you were talking in the car about this,
Oh, I was just trying to figure out his.
you were sitting there like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what is happening here?
No, it just goes onto the topic of like how a lot of teachers don't understand the difference in how a lot of people learn. And
Skilled
it's just
learning, yeah.
Yeah.
having those conversations to figure out on how, like having the conversation with the person and be like, okay, well, if you look at this question, how do you picture it? Okay, well, let's incorporate that into these other questions then, so that they're still getting the answer, but it's working for them, and not a lot of, I guess, you get a few obviously teachers that do it, but not many have a lot of patience.
I suppose that raises another question though. Like, let's say you don't need to know your times tables, but let's say you do, right? And we actively see that you're doing it in a slower method. Should we then enforce to teach you the better method? And should you actively learn the better method if you're going to need this in life?
Yeah, but the problem
Or should
is
you find the method that is going to be the
better.
quickest for him?
Yes. So instead
But
of
wouldn't that
hang
isn't
on.
that so this is, I don't understand too much how the brain works. So, but wouldn't that be arbitrary? Because let's say the quickest way for him to learn is to do what he's doing right now, but he might be able to do it faster, but it will take him longer to learn. Should he not then take that longer time to learn to do
No,
it
but that's
faster?
the thing. So this is where it becomes a point of how much time do the teachers have. If the teachers have infinite time, then yes, they would teach you the fastest way to do it because it's been already calculated. Like it's already been thought out that this is the fastest way to do it is to rope learn it and figure out that da 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 equals da, right? Not da da da. Then go, okay, then it doesn't equal da, but I have to figure out da da da
Instead
da
of A
da
to
da
B,
da.
you went A to Z to B.
Yeah, A to Z to B. Yeah, exactly. But this point is, does the teacher have time to sit down with one student and spend the extra 20 to 40 man hours or like 40 hours to actually progress that thought period of rope learning?
I guess it depends on how long that person would take to
Exactly.
actually learn it.
If we're
But-
talking teachers, like, that even goes into the student's initiative, because you don't know as a teacher what they're going to do with their lives.
Exactly. So it's
So if you
Very
have
complicated.
if you have a class of 40
having that
students,
support at home is
that's a big one too.
needed for a lot of people, where some people don't get it,
Mm.
and it doesn't help
That they're not getting support on
regulate
both
what they're
ends.
getting at school compared to what they're doing in real life.
How'd it go with your mum being a teacher and you trying to learn being dyslexic? How'd that work?
She had a more rope learning approach to it.
What does that
Da
mean?
da da equals da. Like 1 times 1 equals
So
1.
if you did it another way, she'd be like, "What are you doing?"
So it would be basically going back to school, and then so I would have a problem at school. I couldn't figure this out. I'll come home, same problem would occur. Why are you doing it this way? It's harder that way. Do it this way, because that's how she's been taught,
And the thing
and
is,
that's how
sometimes
the teacher's been taught.
yeah,
And it's-
sometimes you can still learn in how the teachers are showing you, but you just might need that little extra support at home to explain. Okay, well, this is why they're doing it that way.
and a little bit more
just
time
breaking it
on just a little bit more time on the breakdown would be a lot more help at home or in the class. But the problem is 9 times out of 10 in the class doesn't have time for that little bit more help on the breakdown.
But then it gets even more like subjective, because like a kid's, depending, how do you word this? It's like, so a great example actually. So Greenland, I always sat next to him in school in maths, and he was just a way faster, and still is a way faster learner at mathematics than me. I got better at maths, not because I learned what the teacher was doing and I learned how he was doing it. I was watching what the teacher did. Then Greenland would do the next question, apply his new learned knowledge, and get the answer straight away. I wouldn't comprehend it, and then I'll copy him, and then realize how I get there. Like, there's some
So
initiative
you
on the
do-
a student to take, like, the
Hang
question
on.
is, how much do you spoon feed people?
Yeah,
No,
but
and that's the thing. That's why you need that, I think, support at home as well, especially when they're younger. It's because it's not just pure the teacher. It's they
Both.
have a curriculum to follow. They have the standards to follow.
they have a set
You
time
need-
period to get it done in, which is like per semester, everyone has to be at
Yeah.
this level. If no one's at this level, then therefore you're jeopardizing your position as a teacher, because it's like then the board doesn't want to pay your position because you're not actually getting results.
And that's why you're saying where it should come back down to the student as well as asking. Not it might not even be support from from the school. It might be going home and be like, okay, well, this is what we did today. I don't understand it.
Mhm.
Can you I don't
Help.
know.
They give an alternative,
Yeah.
maybe to describe it or whatever.
Because it's different. I feel like it's different learning at home.
It's weird though how it's
You're
shown,
in
like,
your own.
yeah.
You're in your own space. It's
It's It's also so dependent on age too. Like
It is.
I nearly failed reception early years, like before year one, because I couldn't get to reading level 8. I only got to reading level 9, but I was pushed through, and I went, as I said, from a CD grade student. Like you would have thought, with seeing that, oh, we're gonna have to hold him back. He's not very good at school, and then I ended up getting one of the high ATARs at school. It's like it's so you don't know.
No.
I don't know how you do know. I don't know
Well,
what you do. This is a big problem.
You see,
Well, I was doing year 8 maths when I was in year 7. But
Damn, humble flex.
But then when I got into year 9, it flipped,
Hmm.
and I just struggled with school.
you see, this is where it's also interesting as well. I was reading at a year 2 level in year 6, and I couldn't read. I literally was illiterate.
My brother, I was there.
Yeah, but probably worse than me, because like
I don't know. I never actively read a novel, as I said, until what 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like not even the class novels. I'd look on the internet. What do I need to know to pass my assignment?
Oh, so you do the okay? Give me
Like
the brief.
Spark Notes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even read Spark Notes. If I could find a YouTube video, that's what I'd do. I would not.
Exactly.
If I had ChatGPT as a kid,
Oh,
I
yeah,
wouldn't have
fuck.
learnt a single
Yeah.
thing.
See, that's also another thing that's getting worried now. But yeah, no, that's my point. I was like at a bad level of reading when I should have been at a certain level. And then by the time it hit like year 8, 9, 10, I applied myself in areas that I enjoyed because I had more freedom. There was less rope learning. So year 11 and 12, that's when I started going from a, say, C student to like a C, maybe a C plus student to a and B student because I applied it actively to what I know and what I like to enjoy learning.
How long have you known that you're dyslexic? Like how long when you got told, you tested, you got told you're dyslexic?
Year 8.
Year 8.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, knowing that, because this is something I've fascinated with,
Mm.
because I don't know if it would have affected me, because I was that bad at reading, like yourself,
Yeah.
in school. I don't know if I was given that title, would I then use it as an excuse and not apply myself further? Would I constantly in the back of my head have this like
Okay.
hindrance?
I
Because I think I
know-
would as a kid. I don't know about an
Mm.
adult, but I think I would as a kid.
You see, throughout my childhood, I was taught no, it's not a hindrance. It's just a different way of seeing things, which
Okay.
which later on, when I became adolescent, year 8 and whatnot, when I did get told I was dyslexic, they were like, "Okay, cool, we can work with this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know we can." Like, I've been trying to do it for the last fucking 8 years, like, and then they're like, "Okay, cool, so you have like an understanding on how shit works," and I'm like, "Yeah," but I know people like we know people that use it as an excuse and don't actually progress anywhere from there. Just go, I'm dyslexic, and it's just like no,
It's just a wall. It's like I
yeah, it's
can't
just a
do that.
wall.
Yeah.
It's a wall and an excuse and an easy cop out. No, it's not easy cop out. You can literally just go, yeah, I'm dyslexic. Okay, like say if it's a problem like someone gives you a big document or a shit ton of paperwork. Best thing I ever did was when I go for interviews and whatnot, and they give me all this paperwork. I'm like, hey, sorry, like it's on my form, like on my employment form and whatnot, that I have dyslexia, so it may take a little bit longer for me to do things. Instead of them,
That's fine to say that. That it may
Exactly.
take me longer. Yeah,
That-
that's fantastic.
That's literally what it is. So therefore, it's like, okay, when you say to them, like you bring it up when it is needed. Like when they go, oh, we're not going to employ you because you're not the right applicant. Oh, you're just doing that because I'm dyslexic. Okay, that's a cop out,
yeah,
right? But then when you get the paperwork and then they go, hey, here's the paperwork. I need it done in an hour. You say, can you actually give me 2 because I read a little bit slowly because of my dyslexia? Normally, people are mostly understanding and go, yeah, sure.
That's
Or
impressive.
even so, that if you really do need it at school, it was really funny because it was like year 8, at the end of year 8 or something, or year 9, we had like a big test come through.
Oh, like
um,
was it nap plan or
yeah, it was a
something?
nap
Yeah.
plan.
No,
test.
it would have been then.
It was bloody annoying because for the nap plan test, they were like, okay, Adam, what sort of special needs do you need? And I'm like, Bethu, and they told me off. They're like, no, not that. But they said, what do you need? And I said, I don't know. Like, I've just got dyslexia. It'll take me longer because normally they give you like 3 hours to do
Yeah,
the
it
whole
was
test.
yeah, that's right.
It was
Yeah.
shit. And I'm like, well, obviously it's going to take me longer. And then they're like, well, if we get a scribe for you, do you think that'll be good? Like, you could verbalize, they could read it out to you and you could verbalize it in your own words. And I was like, yeah, sure. I got a fucking A on that. Like, the highest score that I could. That's the first nap plan I've
You
ever
bet me,
gotten.
damn.
Yeah, that was the first nap plan I ever got that was like a high score. Because I could
All
personally
of a sudden,
read
I'm
it.
like, this kid's a genius.
No, that was funny because this is what sparked an argument between my English teachers. Because one teacher would say, why aren't you in my fucking class? And then the other English teacher would be like, No, no. One English teacher would say, "Why aren't you in my class? Because you obviously understand this shit more than the people in here." And then I would say, "Well, I technically don't know. Like, I'm not educated enough, and I don't read at a level that everyone else does. But I have a more of an in-depth understanding on what it is." And then I would have to go to another class. You see
I'm,
what I mean? It was just interesting.
I'm staggered that you never used it as an excuse because I definitely use
Why
like
would I?
I would no because I said because I was such a bad reader like it would take me forever. We did a test. Greenland and I did a test. We said
Yeah.
let's test how fast we can read a sentence. He read two sentences by mistake because he was reading that fast. He read two sentences in like I think it was 2-3 seconds, something like that, and those were reasonably lengthy sentences. It took me to read that one sentence like 10 seconds, and I was that bad at reading that I was like. I can't read. I'll tell myself I just can't read. I make a joke about it all the time. I can't read. And then every time I got a big document or a big book or a big class novel, I'd genuinely get anxious because I was
You
like,
feel
I can't
overwhelmed.
read
Yeah.
this. Like,
Exactly. You feel
I use it as an
overwhelmed.
excuse. I'm surprised you didn't.
No, you see, it's the mentality
Your
as
mother
well.
bet some sense into you.
Not really. She just kind of told me, "Shut up, you're not stupid." Because I remember when I was little, I used to always go, "I'm stupid. I'm so fucking stupid." Because everyone else is smarter than me. I can't figure it out. It takes me longer. Da da da. But then she kind of pointed out the factor that, hey, you're not stupid. You just see things in a different way. And then it would be like, okay, I understand more things about timber. I understand more things about fucking saws or, like carvings or whatever, like my skilled applications. I know more things about that than normal people do. But then the thing is, it's like, okay, well, how can I figure out how do I learn that so easily? Okay, I've learned it like this, and it's a bit of a round situation. Like I've had to go around to a different couple of situations, get multiple sources of information, but then I apply it to something else that I don't really find interesting.
Have you had any of your own learning challenges?
I think I get into a slump easily with school.
Yeah.
So I'm not dyslexic or anything. But I just
It is the grind. Like it's the same
Mm.
shit over and
Yeah.
over.
and I think instead of having dyslexia, I have anxiety, and I still do, and that stopped me doing a lot of things at school.
That would be. I don't know about work. I'm speaking from my personal experience, but I think that would be worse than dyslexia because I feel like in dyslexia, I could say to someone, I don't know if this is true, but I could say to someone like you said, this is going to take me longer than X amount of time or whatever.
Exactly.
Whereas anxiety, it's like, what do you say? How do you describe? Like, I'm going to feel nervous about this test. There's nothing. Like for my personal, there's nothing I can do. I've just got to somehow get over it and get through it, and like that's it. Like there's nothing I can do.
You know when you might be in like English and you're taking turns reading out a page.
Ooh.
Oh,
That
I
is
used to
my
hate
worst nightmare.
Because I can't
have a story.
read.
because I have to read it in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So your anxiety stops you because you're reading it in front of people. The peers are what is giving you the anxiety.
I took music all the way from year 8 to year 12. I played an instrument, so I had to do a solo. I started my first solo. I had to do it in front of just the teacher. She
Easy.
sat in there throughout either lunch or recess, and I did my solo. Each semester, she would make me bring someone in.
That's a good
until
teacher.
it's the whole
Well, good on
class.
her. That's I like that teacher.
And
As
then
long as she wasn't
by-
being a dig about
No,
it,
no.
or he.
Yeah.
And I used to practice when I was in her office, so I would go in her office and practice. And then by year 11, I was doing in front of class.
Well, hey.
Well, middle of year 10, I think, maybe. Yeah.
I've got two quick stories. One relating to the reading in front of the class,
All right,
and one
look,
relating.
you can only tell one of
Oh, okay. Then I'll tell the one.
them.
But
this is my podcast now. I'm taking over.
the one relating to reading in front of the class. Now, what? Okay, so back in year 7, because we went
This
from
story's getting longer and longer. You hear he's going back further and further.
Back
When
in-
Mummy and Daddy loved each other very much.
back in year 7s, the teachers knew I had a reading difficulty, but they wouldn't say it was dyslexia because they would never actually fork out the money to actually test, right? So
That's what I was. Yeah, I had a learning difficulty. That's what I
learning
was
difficulty,
told.
yeah, that's it. But basically, what I remember, one teacher when he didn't believe it. He thought I was just being like arrogant and I didn't want to read. Like the reason I didn't apply myself.
Did you used to
So-
hate it when they was? Oh, you haven't found the right.
No,
Fucking
no, no.
What? I used to
He
get told
did-
that all the time.
He didn't even say that. This guy was just like, "Oh,
You're not applying yourself.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
being lazy. Like you just read. You're just being lazy. Just do it." And it's just like, yeah, it's easy for someone that doesn't flip their fucking letters around, or someone that has gaps where there's not supposed to be a gap. But anyway, he did this thing where basically we had a whole class in a big circle, and you'd go around and read. didn't tell me what part I was reading, and I was sitting there estimating because it got to a point where he was slowly like he would do first three people, we were just reading around, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I would, skip ahead a couple of pages so I could figure out where I would be reading, and I
It
could
stuffs
read.
up your comprehension so bad.
Yeah, no, but I would read the bit that I thought I was going to read out loud so I could have practice before I would actually
Yeah.
do it, right? And then he'll be like, nah, you know what? Instead of doing a page a person, we'll go do 3 pages a person. And then I'm like, great. Then I would just rush through the book and try and figure out where I'm reading. And then he would keep on swapping it up, and then he'll jump over to someone, jump back over. And this guy loved this system, and then he came to me. And he told me to read this big fucking page. Like, it had so many, like, to me, it was very daunting, and I didn't know what to do. I was very, I was anxious about it, actually. And I started reading, and I was reading out word by word, just slowly. And then he told me to hurry up and just speak, like, read. And then I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. I have a reading difficulty. I can't do this as quickly as everyone else. And he goes, no, that's all right. Okay, go on, just read. So, and I started reading halfway through the page. Everyone in the class is laughing. Now, I mean, this is like a class of like 28 students. Everyone's laughing at me. And I'm just reading and reading. Yeah. I'm reading and I'm slowly getting through, and I'm literally sounding out each, like some words I'm sitting there sounding out the words, sounding out the letters, trying to figure it out. And the person next to me took pity and said, hey, it's this word. And then he told them off for telling me what word it was, and kept on doing that. And then eventually it got to the point where he looked like the biggest dick ever. Because what happened was, after everyone started, like, kept on laughing at for like 10 minutes at my expense, it got to a point where I kept on going. And then eventually the students started putting their hands up and asking if they could take over, because they just felt so embarrassed that he's putting me through this. Like, they're like, no, this isn't fair anymore. It was a joke at first, and then it continued, and he took it too far. He should have stopped at that certain, like, halfway through a page when I was struggling. But no, he said I had to read the next 2 pages. So I kept on going. The students started kept on putting their hands up saying, can I read for Adam? Can I read for Adam? Got to a point where he looked around the whole class and said, does everyone else want to read for Adam? And they all put their hands up. And then he looked like the biggest dick out, because he was forcing a student to do something that they're not confident in and publicly shaming them in front of the whole class and their peers, just so he can make a point that you need to read better.
There's a devil advocate for this though,
Mm.
because you have to push children out of their comfort. Now, obviously,
I
it's a
understand.
unique situation
Yes.
because you're dyslexic.
Yeah,
but
I
even
understand.
still, you should still be pressured. Maybe not that way.
Yeah, not
but
that
you
way.
should
That
still be
was the
pressured
wrong way. But then in
pushed.
return, the next year when I had a different English teacher, right?
Doing like what your teacher did for you, like
Yes.
that's
Yeah, he's
fantastic.
pushing.
Yeah.
Yes. Different English teacher, right? She came up to me and said, hey, I'm going to get you to read this really big one, right? But I'm going to get you and your person that you're sitting next to read it together, and you're going to confer to each other, right? Oh, pardon me. You're going to like talk to each other and go read it through.
Gassy over there.
I know.
Yeah, I know. It's all that tea. You guys go talk together and get it through, and like basically my mate next to me would help me read this big paragraph, and like
That's
we
great.
got through it. And then she said, after like the third or fourth person, I'm going to get you to read that big paragraph, and then wherever they stop, I want you, because she got me to read like the whole paragraph and memorize it basically, and then she'll get someone to read like maybe halfway, like the first beginning of it, and then I'll continue from there. She gave me pre-warning for that. Once I had that pre-warning, there was no hiccup, no nothing. I just read it all out loud, and it was done. So it was a lot more
look,
easier.
if you didn't have the other teacher, would you have learned about public shaming?
No, because
I'm messed about. That's.
do you know what's even more funny? I also had a situation in PE where the teacher came around and asked for like, okay, everyone line up according to their birthday. And I'll just stand there being like, sir, I don't know. And they're like, what's your birthday? And I'm like, I don't know my birthday. And they're like, well, how old are you? And I'm like, well, I'm this. And they're like, so what day were you born? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never had to remember my birthday because it's just something I've never had to do. And he goes, well, and then one of the other boys will be like, oh, he's this old, so he's from like, this date, this time, da da da. And he's like, okay, then you stand over here, all right? That was the first time that ever happened to me, where I was like kind of like ashamed to kind of talk up. And then the second time was that with the English teacher, and then it got better with the other English teacher. I wrote, the other English teacher continued to push me to write more complicated poems. Like, we had a whole class on haiku and poems and that. And I wrote this a nice poem, like really easy, quick, like paragraph. And then she goes, "Can you do like a page or something?" I wrote a 2 page long poem. And then she goes, "Can we simplify that into like a page and a half?" Simplified it a little bit more, and it became a beautiful poem. So it was application towards what was more, my style of doing things. talking about the music, right? Do you remember in music class, I wouldn't sing in front of anyone?
You did. You did it a few times.
Yeah, but hang on, I would always lock myself into like one
Everyone
of those things.
applauded you too. You were like the best.
Yeah, no, but
Like out of everyone,
hang on,
there was
the
only
thing-
maybe one person that bet you.
yeah,
skill.
fair point. But like,
And she had experience.
that was a good point. But you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have that confidence to actually do it in front of anyone because I've never done it in front of anyone. I've never sung in front of anyone. And then I would sing out loud, and then it would reverberate through the fucking air conditioning. And then like our teacher was like, "That's really good. You should get a lot better with that." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to, do it in front of people." And then we went out into the gymnasium that had a stage and whatnot. And then I would sing on the stage, and then it would reverberate to the back of the stage, and I'll get used to getting how loud, how quiet, and whatnot. And then I actually got to a point where I could actually do it, and I would concentrate on like just the stand. I just blocked everyone out and concentrate just on the stand, and it
It's a
worked.
big thing though, because that's like a deep rooted fear in humans of being ostracized. Like that's a big thing to overcome. There are many people that are far more competent at reading that will never get to that level. Like that's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
That's mental. Can you imagine reading, singing in front of people? That's fucking huge.
I used to have to play the flute in front in assembly.
Yeah.
As a part of the choir, or as a part of just by yourself?
Choir, but being flute, you're more towards the front.
Remember-
no, thank you.
Remember at
Makes
school?
sense.
I wanted to be a part of the choir and the band and stuff like that, but I didn't want to be on stage.
I think I've still got a flute. I joined choir in.
You can do
Year
the intro
11.
music for this. All I can do is
We
hot cross
actually
buttons.
we actually do need a proper intro to this rather than just the clashing of swords.
I like that.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
add it to
makes
something.
sense.
It makes sense.
It works with.
And then the last one is like an arrow whooshing by your head. It's like, and then that's it. Like the end.
I can't remember what the end sounds like.
I'll play one for you.
Well, I suppose I've only heard it once. Cause
Yeah, you've only
listened
listened to one thing. We've only released two at this point, but yeah. But no, do you
Okay.
remember at school? I was in choir, and I was down at the baritone end because I had deep voice, right? And then I was always told off because I wouldn't sing loud enough. And then I said, well, I don't really want to sing too loud because I'm going to drown out everyone else because I liked operatic singing. So it was very opera, very loud and boisterous singing. And then one of the teachers said, well, okay, we'll do it. And then I started doing it and I drowned out everyone. And then he goes, okay, we need to turn you down. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I don't sing that loud. And do you remember Mr. Stanleyford?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to sing.
Of course I do.
No, but I used to sing just as loud as him. And I used to sing just
I don't
as
remember
like...
Mr. Stanleyford ever singing.
He was in choir.
Not on stage, was he?
Nah, he didn't do stage stuff, but he did.
Oh, yeah,
he
I
he
didn't
did the
do choir.
rehearsals and everything else because he was our baritone until I took over the baritone. Because Cameron was like Walker, he was like somewhere else. Like he was the next up from me, but there was a gap, like a pretty big gap in between my voice and his voice.
It's so funny
And then-
reflecting on those
Yeah.
things. 'Cause I remember I used to be quite proud in myself as a kid because I was like, I don't get affected by peer pressure. No one affects me by peer pressure. And then looking back, it's like, damn,
You
I was
did.
such a I probably am still
Yep.
now. Like that's mental. Like, why did I do that? I should have done that. Like yeah, it's just crazy reflecting on it and being like, oh no, I was very much a victim of my surroundings and what I was told and what I was fearful of what people thought of me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have two. Like the music teacher that I had, like I said, helped. Two that stood out. My English teacher as well. I think I was like year 10 or something, and we had to do a presentation in front of the class, PowerPoint, everything. Oh my god, did not want to do it. I literally went outside and had a panic attack, and she came out, spoke to me after I had it. She was like, "You got 10 minutes. You got to go in. It's only going to be about 5 minutes. Walk me through it." Made me go in and do it. Hated it, but I did it. And it's just the thing, like you've got to have that relationship with the teacher that helps you push yourself through those little bits. Because, like you said, that you need to be pushed.
It's also the open mindedness too, though, because I remember I used to fucking. Did you ever have Miss Milton as a teacher?
No.
No, I used to absolutely hate her guts because she kept comparing me. For the first year she had me, she kept comparing me to my brother because he was always in the top science and maths and stuff. And I don't know how I ended up in one of the top because I wasn't until like year 6, and all of a sudden I was in the top one. I have no idea why because I didn't understand anything. And she used to like compare me to him and push me like to his level. I used to hate her guts, and I don't know what happened, but overnight I was like, I really respect you, woman. Like, I don't know what happened, but she just rubbed me the right way, and something hit me with
Hold on.
puberty and something like that, and I all of a sudden started applying myself, and
You,
I really liked her.
you and Aaron will probably have a similarity there because remember,
Aaron almost went the opposite way though.
yeah, but Aaron was pushed because his brother was winning all the school awards for like running and all
Yes.
the sports
Yes.
awards. So, and then I think his sister was high up in the netball and everything else. So therefore, he had that sort of pressure there.
Aaron had it worse though, because Bradley, my older brother, wasn't. He was good at sport, but not as good as Aaron's brother. And Aaron's brother, he was
like
he
top.
was good at everything, like
Yeah.
and Aaron was expected to. That he probably had more pressures by like Miss Milton, Mr.
Cockrell.
Him too, but
Yeah.
he didn't have his brother, I don't think. Mr. Gregory and
Yeah.
and the other teachers. The other one, the one that my brother. Anyway, it's yeah, I reckon he probably had it worse. I would say.
I know,
Whereas
that's
I only
what I mean.
had I only had Miss Milton. Miss Burgess wasn't on me, or not Miss Burgess. Miss the English teacher, that one that really wanted you in her class.
Miss
I can't
O'Brien.
remember. That's her.
Yeah,
she
she
did
was
push
really
me.
good. I liked Miss O'Brien because I remember you guys were doing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and I loved it. It was actually really fun. But yeah,
What am I looking at?
time.
The time.
Shall we
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
5:42.
I said 7.
It looks like a 2. Shut up. What do you guys feel like? You want to stop and start cooking dinner?
The other one's showing the time, so you've got an opinion here.
I just gotta go feed the cats.
Oh yeah, we got to feed the cats.
So I wasn't sure whether or not me to start dinner at the same time.
Yeah, we can continue talking here.
You know we can go for
I know.
hours.
Yeah. Mhm.
I know.
We
I
might.
still don't know what we do. I can't wait till you release that other episode of
It's
us,
gonna be a
because
while.
I want to know what we were talking
I
about,
can-
because
I
I've got
can-
no
No,
idea.
I can send it to you in an MP3
Half
format.
an hour episode that turned into 2 hours, was it?
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
We
yeah.
were both tired going into that. I don't know
Yeah.
how we kept
Because we did a whole
going.
day at yours, and then you came back
Yes.
at ours.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was funny.
What I was going to say before, I was talking to my auntie earlier,
yeah.
and I mentioned that a few people coming around and whatnot. And she was saying who was coming around. And then she was like, oh, is that, because obviously we've been seeing you a lot. And I said to her, I was like, yeah, last week is the first time in like a month that we haven't seen him.
Yeah, you've got a
A
good point.
month.
But it's
think-
weird though, because like the 2 months before that, I hadn't like seen or spoken
No.
to you. It's like we had a big break. We had like I just wanted some distance at him. Like, and
Yeah, I
now
know.
I've learned how much I truly love you from all this time that we've had apart, and now I just can't.
I don't think it's love. I think it's Stockholm syndrome.
What's Stockholm syndrome?
You've been around me too long. And so you've been
I've
around me too
adapted
much.
to
So, yeah,
life.
you've adapted. You've gotten used to it that you don't want to leave it anymore.
Yeah, false sense of security.
Do you want to stop? We can
What,
keep
do
on
you want
going.
to help cook or not?
We can help cook.
Yeah, we can help cook. I was waiting for you to say that. All right. Yeah, we'll stop then.
Hey, I'm gonna make the arrow noise. Oh no, that's in post, isn't
That's
it?
in post, you idiot. Fucking hell.
You're gonna use that effect. That's the end of this one.
Well, we've hit an hour and 12 minutes or whatever.
Wasn't this
so-
meant to be like
Yeah.
30 minutes as
Yeah,
well?
we said to 30, 40, and then we
We
went
were like,
past
oh,
40.
we'll stop. It's like 4:30.
Yeah.
Wait
well, it's
until
like
we
4:50,
get up one
5:50.
morning. We'll be like, oh, we'll just do a quick one before we shoot off to, I don't know, the markets or something, and we're here all
And then
day.
it's like, all day, yeah.
Oh my gosh. But if we have something on, I will be there standing at the door like,
Come on, let's go.
I
Let's
can't
go.
relate.
That sounds like a you.
I was
problem.
playing
Apparently you found
fucking-
that out the other week.
What did
when
I?
was
Mm.
you were at? I went out with Mum,
Oh, yeah.
and then he was at yours. Apparently, a conversation was had, and it was like, I can't. I hate being late. I can't.
Yeah, we're talking
I get
about
to
like
your
I
rocking
house.
up.
remember this.
I always get to your house early.
Yeah, no, because we were estimated
So
to come
many
to
of our friend
yours.
group does that
I
though.
can't.
It's just so weird. The amount of times that Greenland's rocked. It's not that I don't like it, but the amount of times he's just rocked up like 30 minutes before the start time of the thing. And Travis is a shocker for doing it too. It's
Yeah,
like
Travis
I was
comes
like, I
late.
love seeing you, mate.
Yeah.
But-
Oh no, Travis comes early too. Yeah,
Yeah.
most of that side of the group comes early.
It does, yeah.
The other side of the group either comes dead on or after.
Yeah.
It's
Which I
very
can't do.
interesting. No,
have
I
to-
think it was. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but it was something. And then I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We can get there whenever." And Taylor was like, "No, we need to go now."
It was.
And I was like,
when we
oh,
were going up for
Jesus
games
Christ.
night at yours,
Yeah, that's it.
and you were like,
Oh, just recently.
Yeah,
with everyone.
Yeah.
with
And
the
it
rest
was
of that
meant to
group.
start at 4, and then
Mm.
you told Adam, "Oh, you can get there whenever."
Yeah,
Like 5ish, and I'm like, When?
I kept pushing that off too because stuff kept
Oh
going
my
on.
god.
Do you know what's funny? You guys ended up leaving, and then maybe like we kept. I don't know. We just kept going.
Yeah,
and
I
then
know. You
it was
guys didn't stop.
What the stupid thing is? It's like it's not like we're partying or anything. We just kept playing games,
No.
and then we ended up hopping
got
in the
later
buggy,
and
and we went for a,
later.
a
I
tour. And then we
At night.
they
a
were
tour
climbing
at night.
trees.
Jesus Christ.
It was so random.
Mm.
It was
I
good,
really
though.
enjoyed it.
That was fun. We need to do that again.
Absolutely. I was only thinking after that finished. I woke up the next day. I was like, all right, when am I hosting my next event? When's the next game? I'm gonna buy a new game. We have another games night.
We've got so many games that we haven't played. that-
Bring out a single games night.
We did.
We did. We brought like 50 of them and we didn't play any of them.
You got to be more assertive.
Uh,
What ones did you bring up that we haven't played?
I'll show you
Quite a
later.
few.
So,
Okay.
there's quite a few that
We're
we've
gonna
got
show you.
that
All
we've
right.
bought
Alright.
and
Are we hosting it here or at my place?
Either or.
here will be easier. Your place is a little bit in the bush.
Yeah, but Satine.
Yeah, Satine. That was a good point. And the
She's
pool.
cute.
Sounds like the decision's been made.
Yeah, no.
I want to find out how that we can heat that pool year round. I think it's because
Because-
it's on solar, it doesn't stay heated. Maybe if it was on but that would blow the power bill through
Yeah.
the roof.
Maybe you should
Because I
just
was
fix
also
that
gonna
diesel
say to
generator
you-
out the back.
Just spend like millions on diesel just heat.
dollars.
Maybe if we put the diesel generator in the pool and then turn it on.
Or maybe we just fuel the diesel generator with lignite fuel. Fuck it. Like, just coal power.
I've got a lot of pallets to burn. Maybe we put like
Yeah,
some water
no,
that
no,
wraps
no.
around the burning pallets and then into
How
the
about we
pipe
just
goes into the
buy-
pool and then comes back out.
How about we just
Heat
buy
transfer.
1,200 meters of copper piping?
Yeah,
Like the
that's
big
what I'm
thick
saying,
one. And then
yeah.
we just wrap it around inside there and burn the shit out of it and blow a fucking gasket. Done. You know,
Oh, man.
we could.
Can you visualize that?
Absolutely
can't.
not.
I was gonna say we could power a small nuclear
All right,
fusion
all right,
reactor.
we're done.
All right. All right, we'll speak to you guys later. See ya.